we're gonna have a nice line here where you're trying to grab Durza, Roland's grabbing you, Gene's grabbing Roland, I'm grabbing Gene, Orlo's grabbing me.
You forgot
Right.
Michelle.
Fuck Michelle. He's holding
Yeah.
a torch.
The inevitable
No.
betrayal.
As we're moving along, Emmerin's gonna try to like weasel his way into some alone time with Roland. He said, "Roland, look, I just want to talk to you quickly about something. I wanted to last night, but it seems you had some companionship with your friend there, so wanted to leave you alone. But look, I'm gonna kind of like whisper this so like nobody else hears. Like, look, I don't like to do the whole concerned thing. I'm not that kind of guy. But look, I saw the bloodlust on the field that day, just outside Elmenhof. And I got to tell you, it was impressive, don't get me wrong. But I'm going to tell you, as someone who has a literal beast living inside him, be careful, friend. It can consume you. And I don't know what how your older feels about rage and murder, but I'm just saying, if you need some help, let me know.
Roland's going to kind of slow his gait up a little bit and turn and look at Emmerin and put his hand on his shoulder and say, I am not a murderer. And then keep walking.
While I see, like, while we're walking, I'm going to kind of slow up and like match gait with Gene and just do like small talk. Nothing crazy. Just, you know, where are you from? Blah blah blah.
Okay.
Nice butt.
You're not trying to do anything more than small talk.
Nope, just kind of like make him a little more comfortable, gain his trust a little bit. Say, you know, like, nice shoes, wanna fuck?
Sounds good. He will engage with you in conversation, but it will be pretty minimal in terms of like full-blown conversation, because you'll see him keep like talking to you, and then he'll like look down, and then he'll like look over at Michelle, and then he'll like look back down. It seems like he's trying to not be quiet about things, but he's just trying to kind of not annoy Michelle, and you can tell that that's something that he has probably done in the past. You guys walk almost to where you were when Orlo decided to take a swim on his own. And the area looks very different now. You can see the bottom of like the well as the water had kind of all run out, and there's still like smaller puddles, like depending on how deep parts of it were, but most of the water is gone, and it's kind of just like this slick, mossy stone. And down in the basin of it, towards the back, towards the actual waterfall where it came down, you can just see Bonwo. He's just sitting on a rock in the middle of like this open area where the water used to be. And as Durza starts to approach him, and as she gets up close to him, she kind of like taps him on the shoulder, and he like almost falls off the rock that he's sitting on. He goes, good morning. I wasn't expecting you so soon. And he'll turn like towards the group of you, and he goes, are you all ready to figure out what's going on?
Born ready, Bonwo.
As ready as we'll ever be, I suppose.
I'm also ready. I sat and thought most of the night about what happened and what's going on, and I feel very responsible for it, and I'm very ashamed of that. So
I don't know that you should be so hard on yourself. It seems like that old Roy over there not ritually dispelled whatever it was you were under, then you'd still be that way. It seems like you were manipulated at a massive level.
yes, but it was still my actions that led us to this point, and I can't say for certain what has or will happen, but I do feel responsible.
We all get drawn into things that are bigger than ourselves. Well, what matters is how we conduct ourselves once we find the true measure of the situation.
Not like you murdered anybody.
You can't be certain about that.
Roland laughs. He says, "That's right."
And as you finish discussing this, he kind of turns around and he looks at this large rock wall, and you see him kind of pick up this almost a staff that he's carrying with him, and like starts waving it in the air and back and forth, and he starts chanting. It goes almost into this kind of trance-like state as he's doing this. And he spends a few minutes doing this, and all of a sudden he stops, and he just slams the staff into the ground. And the wall of where deep into this basin where the water resides usually starts to kind of slide open.
Roland's going to lean over to Emmerin and say, "Do you suppose that's the way in?"
You know, Roland, I never know when you're fucking with me.
That's what makes it so fun.
Where is it you said you were from again?
The Royal d'Argent.
Royal d'Argent, the royal money. Maybe they'll get jokes out there someday, huh, Rolly? And he punches you in the arm, and away we go.
Maybe one day.
So as this kind of finishes sliding open, Bonwo turns to you and looks at Durza and goes, I don't even know what to tell you to look for or look out for while you are down there.
Have you ever been down there before?
Never, no. I've never had the ability. This is usually very inaccessible due to all of the, and he kind of like looks at the waterfall.
Oh,
Water.
Correct.
So how did you know? You know what? It doesn't matter. Let's go.
So did Michelle and Jean? I guess they have all their gear back.
Correct.
So they have armor and I guess they both have swords and shields.
Yeah. Michelle is equipped very similarly to you, and Jean is equipped much like a squire would be. He has more chainmail type armor, but he does have a sword and a shield.
Jean, come up here. Come walk vanguard with us. This is the unknown. It's a great honor for a squire like you.
And he just immediately like runs up and stands next to you.
I'm assuming I still have Buttonhead, so I'm gonna give him like a little pat and be like, "Stay close, okay?"
And he just kind of like looks up at you and just like shakes his head, and he like puts his little hand on his little sword.
And as they're walking up to the mouth of the cave, Roland's gonna be given like a spiel to Jean, like, "Okay, well, this is the real deal. You know, double check, all your buckles buckled. How's your shield?" And he's shaking it on his arm. Good. All right. Now, if I need you in there, I'm expecting you to jump in.
And he's just like consistently just like doing one of these numbers where he's just shaking his head the whole time you're talking.
Right. And Roland's gonna try and catch Emmerin's eye, and like kind of look down at Gene, and like, you know, give him a look like don't let this kid die.
He gives you like a quick knowing look and like, yeah, I'm on it.
Durza just walks forward and pushes Bonwo off to the side and goes, "Go home, I'll find you when we return," and just starts walking down the stairway.
I go into the scary cave.
We all come with you.
So what I would like to do is, this is going to be big enough to have two of you side by side. So if you would like to give me an order of how you would like to be positioned, a marching order, if you will.
I'd like to go up front with either Emmerin or Gene, whichever. Like, if Emmerin also wants to be right in the front, or somebody else in the party wants to be right in the front, I'll cede Gene's spot to them.
I was gonna say I'll be up front with Durza, because I'm assuming she went in first.
I'll actually pick up the rear.
Yep. Orlo's in back.
Okay, me and Orlo will pick up the rear. With cheeks like that, that's all you can do. Hey, Orlo.
Hey. Flaunt him if you got him.
And got him, he do.
Then, so this is how I will have you guys, just for reference. It will be Durza and Laya in the front, Sir Roland, then Gene in between you and Michelle, so like you three would be in a line, and then behind behind Michelle would be Orlo and Emmerin taking up the rear. Does that work for everybody?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
I like it.
Okay, so...
Hold on. Player tactical moment here. Maybe it would behoove us to have one of our rogues up front.
Laya's up front.
Oh, Laya's
don't
up
we?
front? Okay, sorry,
Right.
my bad. For some reason, I didn't catch that Laya was up front. Did not click in my brain.
You don't pay any attention to me.
That's how the marching order will be. I put it in the Discord.
Okay, sorry, Skelly, I love you.
Have you?
Okay, good. So you can check for traps in the beginning, up front, and I'll keep an eye for shit in the back.
So as you guys start your way down this, it is a very slick, weathered stone that you're walking on, and it starts out as stairs. But once you kind of pass down the first about 30 feet, it starts to turn into more of just like not quite a ramp, but like long, elongated stairs, like probably 15 feet, and then it would like drop down a little bit, and then another 15 feet, and it drops down a little bit, not a slide.
It sounds like a slide.
And it is, once you start getting past the point of where the overhang of the waterfall is, it gets very dark, but it also is very damp and musty and humid. The walls are very slick and slimy with moss and things like that. Some kind of aquatic plants that are growing up the side that are used to being there because this is usually underwater. Is there anything you want to be doing while you are heading down the stairs?
Definitely checking for traps.
Okay. Go ahead and go ahead and give me a roll for that if you would.
What do I roll for that?
Either perception or investigation.
Dungeoneering.
I miss that skill so much.
Yeah.
So cool.
That's a 17.
Then Emmerin, are you also going to be checking behind you guys?
I'll just be keeping an eye out for. I'll trust Laya to keep an eye out for traps, but I'll keep an eye for anything that's trying to kind of sneak up behind us. You know.
Okay, will you give me a perception check for that as well?
Yes, sir. That is going to be a 15.
Check.
God, for a +6.
Is it getting like? Is it looking like it's going to be too dark to see here in a minute?
You're starting to get to that point where it's very low light. Yes.
Roland's going to take a torch out of his pack and light it and hand it over to Jean to use in his shield hand.
Check. So there is a radius of light encompassing the group of you coming from the middle of your party. It doesn't give you a lot of vision ahead of you, Laya, but it is at least bright enough to see the first 10 feet in front of you.
Okay.
As you guys are walking forward, Durza's just kind of hoofing it through. She doesn't give a shit, nor is she looking for anything in particular, other than the end of wherever the hell this goes. And Laya, as she's taking steps forward, and you're kind of like looking at the floor and the ceiling and the walls, you notice that there's this thin piece of stone that it looks very out of place. And it's maybe 5 feet in front of you.
I'll wait and like try to like grab Durza's arm.
And you grab a hold of her, and as you do, she kind of looks back and scoffs at you, and she takes the next step, and she hits this piece of stone, and the floor in front of her just falls completely out. Go ahead and, if you would, make a athletics check, please.
When Roland sees this, he's going to try and grab at Laya at like the back of her clothes to keep her from falling in. So
Okay.
assist.
Go ahead and Laya, whatever you. Go ahead and roll with advantage, because you guys are all close enough that you should be very easy to do that, Sir Roland, and you're trying to pay attention as much as you can, so that would make sense.
We're gonna have a nice line here where you're trying to grab Durza, Roland's grabbing you, Jean's grabbing Roland, I'm grabbing Jean, Orlo's
Michelle.
grabbing me.
You forgot
Sorry.
Michelle.
Fuck Michelle. He's holding
Yeah.
the torch.
The inevitable
No.
betrayal. Michelle.
Isn't
leads
Jean
us
holding
all.
the torch?
Jean's holding the torch.
Jean's-
Oh,
You
my
like
bad.
Michelle.
Is there any chance I could roll acrobatics instead of athletics?
No.
Okay, it was worth a try. So you said advantage.
Yes.
You can do it, girl.
Unless you're gonna front flip over Durza, I don't think that acrobatics has much of a.
I like it.
With advantage, it's a 9.
Okay. So she takes the step forward and starts falling, and you grab her by the wrist, and she's holding on to you, and Sir Roland is holding on to the back of your cloak, and the only thing that is holding you guys there is Sir Roland at the moment. As soon as this starts to happen, obviously, Michelle reaches forward and also grabs a hold of Sir Roland to help grab a hold of you and kind of pull you guys back. But in front of you, as you're kind of staring over the barrel of this this floor trap that is there, you don't see the bottom. And all you see is Durza kind of dangling, her feet are touching the wall, and she's holding you, but she's completely just dangling over. You're not even sure if there is a bottom or what it is, but you can't see it. Sir Roland, would you please roll me an athletics check with advantage as well?
That is a 22.
Okay, so between you and Michelle, you can pull up Laya and Durza very easily. BK, with your perception where it was, you can see that the edge of the floor trap kind of is a good distance out, but just on the front side of that, right where it looked like Durza stepped on the stone pressure plate, there's some inlays in the wall. And you're not sure if that's good or bad, but you can definitely see them.
Like inlays, like something that looked like it would be something for them to be able to grab onto, or
It looks like just kind of like little indentations in the wall.
holes.
Not you can't necessarily see a hole specifically, but you can see an indentation.
So he,
Like think of it
Emmerin
like a handhold for like a rock
a
climbing.
handhold. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So, Emmerin's gonna cry out to Laya as is she still down there, right? Like she's still dangling.
She's like hanging like forward at like a 45-degree angle, and she's holding Durza, who's standing like basically against the wall in the pit.
If one were to handhold into the thing and then like reach down, would I be able to grab Durza or Laya?
For sure.
And is it so far out that I'd have to like hang over the precipice, or could I like, is it close enough that I could like grab one, like lean over, and try to pull up?
You wouldn't be leaning completely over it, but you would have to lean more forward towards it to reach down to Durza, but you wouldn't have to do that to reach Laya for sure.
So yeah, I guess he's gonna do exactly that. He'll just kind of like shove some folks out of the way, make sure Jean is pushed far back from this with Orlo, and then say to folks as he's moving his way up, there's some handholds here, and he's gonna try to grab one and then reach down and grab Laya by the back with Roland and just give her a yank up.
Okay. So go ahead and give me another athletics check, please.
Athletics. Oh, I'm good at this. 21.
Okay.
Nice.
So between you and Roland and Michelle, you pull Laya hard enough that she also just kind of pulls Durza up with her. Laya, make another athletics check, please. This time without advantage.
17.
Okay. So as you guys yank on her, you like grip down on Durza a lot more and pull her up with you. You can feel her grip start to like slip from you, but you kind of grab onto her and just yank her up the rest of the way.
And once we are safely on the ground, I'm gonna kind of like jab her in the arm. If I tell you to wait, you need to stop.
Deal.
Yeah, how much?
So how long is the pit now?
So it is just about 10 feet across. And it is
theoretically
wall-to-wall pit.
wall-to-wall pits.
Do the handholds look like they continue going down?
Down or across?
Either or.
You can't see too far down based on where Jean is, but you can definitely see that they seem to be going at least across.
So, all right, Emmerin's going to make a suggestion. All right, I can make that jump, given enough room. If you wrap a rope around me, allow me to go. Someone's holding the other end. We might be able to tie something up so that people can have something to hold on to while they're going across the handholds as well.
Orlo just rummages through his backpack and pulls out his immovable rod and is like, "You mean something like this?"
There it is.
Well, that's infinitely better, Orlo.
Orlo throws it down the pit.
Walker! Woohoo!
Yeah, so Orlo just
Fucking
holds out
immovable rod? Are you kidding me? How long have you had this damn thing?
The whole campaign.
Ever.
Are you kidding me? Do you know how overpowered these things are?
Yeah, but it's funnier this way.
Just be glad that you missed the jar of mayonnaise.
You like
Excuse me?
the crab man was on the ground, like crawling towards us. You could have fucking just put the immovable rod on his head.
Yeah, but that would have been mean. Our friend
He
was
was
in
a
there.
crab man.
Our friend was in there.
I love you so much.
You know-
Roland's
Sorry, go ahead.
going to say, Orlo, what is that?
Oh, this is an immovable rod. You see here this button here? Whenever you jam this down somewhere, stick it anywhere, and then press this button, it doesn't move for nothing.
Go ahead.
So, what are we gonna do with this?
Throw it down the pit.
Toss it down.
You could have people use it as a handhold, right? Like as they're going.
Well, that was
across,
my
like,
thought.
say, and then
Right. So that was my thought, but then you still have to place your feet and hand on the handholds, and then just like move that kind of one at a time.
yes,
But then how do we get it back over? So
Throw it. We tie a rope to
Right.
the rod.
are we gonna leave? Well, yeah, I suppose we could tie a rope to the rod.
So here's the other thing. Here's what we could do to make it really epic. Emmerin will jump across. Midway through, he clicks the button so that the immovable rod sits in the middle of the air with a rope attached to it. And then we swing everybody else across.
Then how do we push the button to get the immovable rod back?
Orlo's got to do some cool acrobatic shit like he always does.
Can we just send you over with the rope tied to you and the immovable rod?
I know
Yeah.
this riddle. You have a fox, a chicken, and an
And a
immovable
bag
rod.
of corn. Yeah, we can do that too.
For sake of saving time with that, you guys will have no problem with the immovable rod making it over the pit.
Oh, but no, we wanted to make this epic.
Oh, don't worry, there's plenty more things.
Okay.
This was the intro trap.
Yeah. It's to let you know that there's traps in the dungeon.
The trap we looked for and the dick NPC we're with said, ah!
So yeah, you guys very easily with the immovable rod, Emmerin, you definitely easily could make that jump with no problem. And then just a matter of getting people across with a rope and then just pulling them up. Jean would be the only one that would struggle with this, but with the help of the rest of you, he would make it with no problems.
Can I
Lion,
make
do you give any
sure-
special help?
I was gonna say, can I make sure to be like the one who grabs his hand when he makes it across?
Sure.
Yeah, everybody else is getting like pulled up by like big hairy Michelle, and then you're like, oh no.
I've got this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm assuming we're gonna retain the same marching order, yes? Okay, so you guys can. Oh, sorry, go
Or
ahead.
I vote we kick Durza to like the middle or the back. We kick Durza to behind Michelle.
Not gonna
I-
have that.
I was gonna say I don't think she would stand for that. But I feel like I established that she needs to listen to me now.
I do have one more question. Are you guys going to investigate the pit at all, or are you just going to continue on?
No, but I'm
Um,
taking my immovable rod, and I'm very explicit about that.
Yes.
Ro-
Good.
Roland's gonna have Jean throw his torch down the pit and watch it as it.
Okay. So as he drops it, he kind of like starts to lean over and look as it starts falling, and it falls and it hits the side and bounces and falls and hits the side and keeps going for quite a few minutes until at the bottom you hear it just hit and fizzle out as it hits conceivably water at the bottom of it.
Minutes?
Yeah, by the time it hits that water, it's a lot smaller.
What's terminal velocity on this planet?
600 billion miles an hour.
We're in a vacuum. There's no terminal velocity. None of us have been
Elephants are
breathing.
like squirrels, right? They're like terminal velocity won't kill them.
Yeah,
Because they have no mass.
that's true. You can throw a squirrel from atmosphere, provided it would survive the entering of the atmosphere, and it would be fine.
Resilient little fucks.
Roland's gonna have
Gonna need the Mythbusters on this one.
gonna hand Gene another torch.
I was waiting for I'm gonna tell him not to drop it this time.
No.
Just lights it, drops it again. Like, what else?
There's no quippy one-liner. It's just